That. All right. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Here we are. Our special guest today is Derek Oie. We're a mastermind with Neil Schwartz, and we're very excited to have a conversation with Derek. Derek and I go back. How old were you when we first met, Derek?
22.
22. And you're what, 24 now?
I'm looking 24. I'm 54. So we go back quite a while.
You can't be 54. That would make me older.
I love it. I love it.
Are you really 54?
I am. Time flies when you're having fun.
I guess. Wow.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Good stuff. Excellent. So would you tell our group a little bit about your market, maybe about your trajectory a little bit, kind of the Reader's Digest thing, a little makeup of your team, etc.
So absolutely. And just 2 bullet points on that. Number one, I saw you about 2 years ago. I was cruising up Fairway to a listing appointment, and I probably wanted to take 120 seconds max. And thank you for not just this call, but thank you for the last 30 years. Okay. What I told to Neil when we were there is this, and I want you guys to hear this. We got to say it privately, but I wanted to say it publicly. Okay. I owe Neil probably a majority of my success because I met that guy when I was just like straight out of Cal State Fullerton. Okay. And I told Neil, I go, there's thousands of people that he's impacted and touched, okay, that have better lives because of them. And he said, oh, thousands? And I go, probably tens of thousands. And the moral of the story was this is a picture of my daughter. So when I'm dialing or calling, this picture of my daughter. So we do affirmations and have fun and we sing music today. That's because, you taught me how to do that 30 years ago. So I just wanted to publicly tell you that. My daughter may never meet you, but she gets the impact of it. Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
You needed to hear that. So trajectory of my career. What I also want to do is, because I know you're a value add guy, I'm a value add guy. So besides telling the story, I also, when we get into the questions you have, I'm going to just tell the group what I learned along the way. That's the value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But trajectory, started passing out pumpkins when I was 7 years old for a real estate agent in Hacienda Heights. I said, this is what I want to do. Went to Cal State Fullerton, got my license through there, went to 1 year at USC, was doing it kind of part-time. And then, went full-time, 1995 was my first full-time year. Okay. Started knocking doors, prospecting. Okay. Some of you may know the story, people were complaining about me at the office and Neil says, what's the solution? And we built the bathroom. And that's a true story. Okay. Best thing that ever happened to me. Okay. But knocked doors from 9 to 12, 1 to 4, and cold called out of the white pages for many years. One of the things that I've learned, if you guys have ever heard of a guy named Darren Hardy and the compound effect, is this. I thought for sure I was going to come out of the gates and light it on fire. I didn't. Okay. But what I learned is this. If I just kept knocking doors and showing up with that laminated script card from Mike Ferry, if I just kept doing it enough and had a very simple lead follow-up system that, year 1, I did 12 deals. Year 5, I did 117. Okay. So, well, did you do 117 year 5? It was from massive prospecting and lead follow-up for those prior years. Okay. And that's kind of the faith part of it. You got to say, hey, look, number 1, I'm not getting results. Well, you're going to get results in the future. Number 2, what I learned is your CRM, you can spend 5, 10, 15 years figuring it out. The best one is the one that you use. Okay. And hey, it was 3x5 cards in a shoebox, but it was religiously done. Okay. And then, I started a little team. I've learned a lot about that. I've made a lot of mistakes on it. Right now I am involved in multiple real estate businesses. I'm involved in brokerages. I run a 45-person team that just doubled. We intend to grow that team larger. I have a private equity real estate company that I've started. I still find time for my wife and 2 daughters. And, that's the Reader's Digest version.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So right now at 10,000 feet, a lot of people won't be able to relate. So
Yep.
let's bring it down to that first 5 years, that first 8 years when you were focused on building your business. You were young, you were aggressive. You didn't, in certain cases, didn't even know what you didn't know.
Yep. In a lot of cases. Yep.
And so how do you get, I even remember a strategy. One of those strategies was you wanted to own Hacienda Heights in terms of a business. And I think one of the strategies was to start knocking every single door in Hacienda Heights, go up one down street, one up one street, down the next street, up one street, down the next street. I mean, I think that was pretty much part of the first year strategy, correct?
So yeah, I mean, that was the first year strategy. I mean, I was originally going to go into farming and all of that stuff, and I called Anthony De La Barre and I said, "There's a new sheriff in town. Get ready." I mean, some of you may get that, but one of the things that I would say a takeaway and why I think you guys on this call are great. I just got off a 2-hour literally mastermind where I was taking a lot of notes and things like that. You're going to be continually learning and improving. It is not static, guys, in business and in life or in real estate. You're either going backwards or you're going forwards. Okay. And it's just, there's no static. Okay. You're either getting passed up or not. And if we have time, we can talk about that 2016 call that I got from the guys that started OfferPad. And, so I'm just letting you know, there's going to be new prop tech. So you got to be ahead of it. So, I just knocked doors. Neil told me to go get some police officer shoes off Lemon. And one of the things I would just say is this: do whatever you're told. Okay. Neil's not slipping me $100 for that, but I'm just saying, do what you're told. So if he says, go buy police officer shoes and just knock doors, okay, great. I didn't know I was a guinea pig, by the way. I thought everybody did what they were told. Okay. But then I just realized, I went to the Mike Ferry seminars. He told me to go there. I did what he told me to do. And I said, didn't know what an expired listing was. Didn't know what a for sale by owner was. And he said, go down to Century 21 Money World and go talk to Joe Cushol. So I drove down there. I thought everybody did what, and then I said, man, there's a more efficient and effective way to do that if I can call people that have raised their hands. So that was the original plan. But then I said, I want to make as much money. I want to make $1 million before I'm 30 years old. Okay. And back in the day, it was like 130 to 150,000. Okay. Rolling Heights, high-end home in the country, my first high-end home. And I was nervous, 400 grand in Diamond Bar in the country. And I was sweating it with Lowell Overton. Okay. But then I just transitioned. I go, I want to go further, faster. So I started picking up the phone and calling expired listings and for sale by owners. And, if we have time, if you want to write something down, Rob, hey, tell us your approach with for sale by owners and what you did and how you did it. If we have time, I think that'd be valuable. Okay.
Good.
Go ahead.
No.
That's what I did.
Yeah. So you want to go down that street right now?
Yeah. I mean, I work fast. You know that, Neil. So,
well, we're not at the end of the call yet, Derek.
Okay, I know, but we got to pack. We got to pack a punch for this team. So so I can just say this: the for sale by owner strategy was this. I was nervous as heck to give a listing presentation. Okay, and I was scared to death that they say, "Why should I pay you money?" And by the way, I'm going to tell you this. Okay, we are completely rebuilding a business right now. Okay. And anybody that I would tell you, I don't care all the seminars you go to, if you're listening to Gary Vee or whatever, work on this 2022 and just get this done. Why should I hire you? Okay. Well, what else? Why don't go to Tom? Why should I hire you? Okay. And then, and if we have time on this one, you know, you should write this down. And if we have time, because I got to ask this. Anybody ever heard of Blackstone?
You mean the hedge fund company?
Yep. And Invitation Homes. Anybody ever heard of that company? Okay, so they're the biggest single family residential operator of single family rentals in the United States. And a guy fly out in 2012 and asked me this question: why should I hire you? And if you give me the right answer, here's a $250 million check. Okay, proof of funds. So going back to for sale by owners. So here's my script. I'm going to write it. It's being recorded. Hey, I called for sale by owner. There's 3 blocks to it. Okay. Hi, this is Derek with ABC Realty. Checking to see if your home's available. Question number 1. Number 2, are you cooperating with agents? Great. Number 3, I'd like to preview your home. They're going to say, do you have a buyer, et cetera, whatever it may be. I'm going to say, look, obviously, if you want to sell your home, you got to get people through. Okay. Great. I set a preview appointment, not a listing appointment. Okay. Box number 2. By the way, if you sell this home, not if, I say if, not when, where are you planning on moving to? We're planning on moving from Via Verde to Newport Beach, Balboa Island. Fantastic. How'd you happen to pick that area? Obviously, you can see that the Mike Ferry scripts are laid in here. Memorize, internalize, become yours. Okay. Where are you moving to? Newport Beach. How do you happen to pick that? Well, I want to be near the grandkids. Have you seen any homes down there? Okay. Yeah, we've seen a few, but we need to sell this home. Love the opportunity to apply for the job, helping you find a home in Newport or on Balboa Island. Okay. So what I would do, guys, is this. I'm going to let you know. I would go show homes to for sale by owners all day, all long before their home was even listed. And here's what I learned from that. Thanks to Joel Cushell and Neil telling me to drive down to Money World, La Mirada. I said, and Joel said, hey, what have you learned? I said, I don't have to give listing presentations. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, they get to see how I work. They get to see my energy level, my follow through and all of that. I'm showing them homes, I'm prepared, I'm meeting agents, all these things. And then after that, it's just a matter of, hey, Derek, what's the price and how much we're going to get? It's called the backdoor approach. And I just said, man, I'm just going to go out and show buyers. And then they say, hey, we like this one. Can you go non-contingent? Well, you know that answer. Great. Can you list our house for us? Okay. What I would say, obviously, being around Neil Schwartz, is you guys got to, absolutely, we'll talk about skill level, because it is the number one thing that you guys need to work on as far as your skill level. There wasn't too much hesitation in that script, was there, Neil?
None.
Okay. Does that make sense? So we'll talk about the nurture process. You guys
Derek,
just got to go ahead.
Derek, wait a second. Hold on a second. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I really need to stop you right here. You're a go-getter. You're a killer. You have 4,000 houses. You closed, blah, 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 all kinds of cool things. And yet you're still talking about scripts and dialogues and skills? Well,
So, 1,000%.
But you get my point, is that one of the biggest arguments I've had in 40 years is why do I need to learn that? Why is that important?
Okay.
And you're coming out, swinging with scripts and dialogues right up the bat. Okay. Why has it been important to you? Why?
Okay. So if our friend Rob Hurdle gets time to talk about a football coach from Los Altos that gave me some advice at the close of this call, it's a great way to close it. But here's why. I started my career full-time in 95. The next year after that, the Los Angeles Lakers, Jerry West drafted a guy named Kobe Bryant. So we kind of started our careers. And I said, well, guy's got skills and everything, but he's going to outwork everybody. Okay. So number one, I already said you're either going forward or going backwards. But number 2 is this. Do you guys know, okay, the real value that you bring to a client is your skill level? Okay. Hey, how do I get an offer accepted when there's 20 people going over 200,000? Hey, it's your skill. Okay. And a builder client of mine, and I know, the Myetts, did some builder stuff, but a builder client of mine told me this 10 years ago. He goes, hey, just imagine that somebody from Centex or Pulte is going to call off the sign. and they're going to be a secret shopper. And that one thing, Neil, he said, and a mentor of mine says, Derek, you have to operate from a skill level that your clients are secret shopping you, where if they call you off of a sign and say, hey, tell me about this house. And you're not going to say, oh, it's a piece of junk and the seller's desperate. You're going to say, does that make sense? You're going to say, here's the price, bedroom, bath, square footage, et cetera, et cetera. So what I would just say is this. I look at improving my skills. And by the way, just so you know, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock, practice. 9 to 9:30, 32 years later, Monday through Friday, I practice. I'm getting better. Okay. And the other thing is this, you guys got to get this. The only reason that you guys are not where you want to be, maybe you're going there, but you got to get the confidence level up. And I put in the work to be able to say, I've earned the right to have that confidence. I've been blown out. I've been rejected. I used to sit on Valley Boulevard with bloody knuckles, like Band-Aids, because I was embarrassed. But I got to the point where I said, man, I put in the work. Okay. Does that make sense?
Love it. I love it.
If we're getting off track, you can fire me. So
no, you can't get off track talking about skills.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
that's great. Good stuff. So, so that's what I was going to ask, but you already answered it. Is that you're still role playing and practicing 32 years later?
100%.
Okay. So is this, I hear this from veterans all the time. They're tired of doing this and tired of doing that. You think of this business as a grind, or you think this business as an opportunity?
It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, look, my dad used to take me down to Whittier Narrows. He passed away when I was 12, but he used to take me down there and say, hey, son, what do you see out there? And he'd take me down, look at a golf course, and there was a green and a sand trap. And he said, they're both out there. It just depends on how you look at it. So I have looked at the real estate business. It's been one of the things that I've been blessed about. And obviously, I mean, Neil, you know that more than anybody. I mean, I've had the opportunity to hang around incredible people. Okay. But I just look at it and say, hey, like, you can be a real estate agent, you can run a team, you can do a brokerage, you can invest in rental buildings, you can get into interiors. I mean, you have an absolute palette, and you get to be in a social business, you get to impact lives. So I could have a laundry list of all of the benefits. And if I look at all of the benefits of this industry, okay, hey, you get paid $20,000 for your skills. It's not putting up a sign. It's not walking in. And I tell agents, I go, you think you get paid to open a door with your Supra key and tell them where the kitchen is? They know where the kitchen is. You get paid an exorbitant amount of money for your skills. So, going back to that, Neil, my answer is this. I look at the green and all of the benefits of my chosen profession. And is it hard work? Yeah, but I've just learned to Michelangelo this thing and enjoy the process.
Exactly. Good job. Excellent. Okay, so business today is a little bit different. Your business level is a little bit different. The people that you manage, et cetera, et cetera. But you've got a new group of agents. They're newer. The market is changing. For the last 4 or 5 years, we've been, the listing script is to, when we talk to the seller, what do you want? Okay, right?
Yeah.
That's the script. Okay.
Yeah.
Today, the script is a teeny bit different because we're running into buyers aren't as excited. The interest rates are rising, so they're paying more payments. Sellers are still used to, geez, if their house isn't sold for $50,000 more 3 hours after it was listed, they're mad at the real estate agent. But that's not happening today. That's starting to slow down. It's starting to cool down. What do you suggest to that group of agents that kind of just came in the last 2 years? They didn't see what we went through in 80, 89, et cetera. They don't know those things that happened to us. What do you tell them to do right now? What's the top 2-3 things that you would give them to do to not only survive this market, but to thrive in it?
So Neil, if you were coming into my organization and you were sitting down to apply for a job, I whip out a little 3x5 card. And here's a 3x5 card. The very first thing that I say is, by the way, I'm going to make you 0 promises. Well, we talked to 10 other brokers and they're like, come over here and all this stuff. And no, oh, by the way, I'm going to make you 0 promises. Okay. So this is a partnership. Okay. Second thing I say is we're a startup. What do you mean? You've been doing this forever. You're a startup? I'm getting a little nervous here. No, I want you to know this is how we operate. We're going to operate like, those guys up in Cupertino, like we're innovating. We're going to be changing. We're going to look different next year. And number 3, given the opportunity, I'll change your life. That's it. But going back to point number 1, I want you guys to write this down. It's called pre-framing. Okay. And pre-framing is the concept, meaning I'm telling the client in advance how the process is going to be. Okay. And what I'm saying is this: when you first build a team, here's a problem. If you don't do the pre-framing properly, they're going to feel, when you say, oh, hey, Sally's going to be calling you. Well, I'm going to feel passed off. I learned that. But if you tell the client how you work, they're going to say, hey, I run a team. I'm like a 5-star restaurant. You don't walk into a restaurant and the cook's doing the ordering or bussing the tables. That's how I set up my operation. You want 5-star, you want 1-star. So, but what I would say is this: tell the client the following. The market is changing April 2022. This is the month, guys. They don't ring a bell at the top. They don't ring a bell at the bottom. Okay? It's changing. By the way, you should understand this. A normal market is 6 months to sell a home. That's what a normal market is. Hey, if it's 6 days, I'm sweating it. If it's not 6 hours, a normal market. So you educate them on what a normal market is. Okay? You also educate them this. I can give you all the comps in the world, but let me just tell you this. Supply and demand equals this. Your home is worth what a qualified buyer is willing to pay and the highest price with full exposure to the home. That's like economics. This is what your home is worth. And if you don't want to choose to accept that, that is your choice. Okay? So those are a couple things. The things that if I was less than 2 years in the business, what I would be working on is a script that you've never done. Okay? I want you guys to get the second word right. Okay? Price improvement. Okay? So if I call up Hurdle and I say, hey, buddy, you need a haircut. We got to lower the price. We need to get a haircut on your price. That's not too exciting. We need to improve the price. Okay, that's a little Tommy Hopkins from the 70s, Neil. Okay, we need it. Linguistics matter. NLP matters. We need to improve the price. Okay, to make it. And the other thing, Neil, I would tell you this. You and I have been through markets and stuff like that. So you're absolutely right. Hey, what do you want to list it at? Sounds good. Let's roll the dice and no skill. I'm going to say this would be another script. Number 1. We need to be the first one to attract offers. Okay? So in the olden days, if something sold at 275, I was listing at 269. Okay? The other thing is this, one other script. I want you to write this down. You can't undersell a home today. You need to tell them that. It's impossible. Even if it's my first day in real estate, Neil still hiring me with that polyester suit, can't undersell it. Why? And just say this, consumers have access to the information. Oh, dude, they're on Redfin, Zillow, Realtor.com. They're on our website. They know the information, can't undersell it. And then on a CMA, what I do is you highlight the up arrows on the CMA. See all these things? Those are where people bid more. One other script. Are we good on time, Neil?
Got it.
Okay.
Kenny?
One other thing. One buyer equals buyer controls the price. Okay? One buyer test, buyer controls the price. Okay? Tyrone, we got 2 buyers, seller controls the price. Okay? I have created an auction. Hey, what's your job? I want to create an auction-like environment. Look, you guys start using those words, they're going to say, hey, this isn't Lumlow School of Real Estate. I'm going to create an auction-like environment on your property. Hey, one other thing that I will just tell you is this, and I'm going to tell you this, and I got back to doing this 18 months ago. Okay. And I just want you guys to do this. You know, I want you guys to spend time and put a lot of thought into what you do in the public remarks to describe a home. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys this. Agents, and you guys know this, agents look at two things. Clients look at two things. They look at the photos, right? Swipe left, swipe right. And then they look at the public remarks. And I'm going to tell you this. If you do a lazy job of the public remarks, shame on you. Okay. You're not, Neil, if we have time, hey, what did we do to market homes before the MLS? Well, I got flyers and drove down to Century 21 on Gale Avenue. I mean, when there was no MLS. So I tell agents right now, if you need to put some thought, and every home has a story, and treat this like, it's the owner of the corporation that you work for, it's their home. Have that mindset. And guess what? We want leads and referrals. They're going to share it with their friends. Well, that was thoughtful. They put a lot of thought into it. Do you know what I mean? I know we're off track, but that's how we roll, Neil.
No. You're fine. You're fine. This is called masterminding.
Yep.
Okay. I like it. You know what? Let's open it up for a little bit of questions right now. You've generated some thoughts and ideas. Questions for Derek. Questions for Derek right now. See what, just pop a hand up or just yell out.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes.
So you talked about getting your confidence level up. Can you talk about how you did that?
So here's what I'll tell you. It's easier said than done. And I was very discouraged, okay, at the start. Okay. What I would tell you is this. Confidence level came up where, I've had clients live at my house, and I just internally, you can't listen to the noise. And I said, look, if my true north is right to really help people in this industry and help my clients, and I'm out working everybody, then I deserve the right to get in front of them. Okay. So that was one of them. And I'm just going to tell you this, Felicia, is this. Okay. And it's $1 million question. If you work hard, that we're not even going to talk about that big pyramid, Maslow, self-esteem. But if you work hard and you're working hard when nobody else was watching, your confidence goes up. Okay. It has to do with the hard work. I always say, hey, look, if you're just hanging out and not letting people hold you accountable, it's tough to feel confident. But if you're busting your butt, confidence is going to go up. Okay.
Derek, on the working hard, a lot of times agents don't equate previewing property to working. And that's the working hard part, Felicia, that Derek did in the beginning, which was when he's out knocking on doors, he was looking at properties, and knowledge equals confidence. And that was a big part of the beginning, street after street, knowing the neighborhood, been down every cul-de-sac, been behind every shopping center, doing whatever it took to know the marketplace. That gives one great confidence.
I learned that from Mike Scanlon. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I absolutely, and by the way, I know we're running out of time. Neil, I could probably spend like a year. Here's what I'm saying. The other thing is this, confidence, Felicia, okay? Listing presentation, okay? Or showing properties. So when I started showing properties, and cut me if we got to go. When I started showing properties, clients say, hey, what's the school district? Oh, I don't know. What's the tax rate? I don't know, or whatever it is. And I just go, I got so frustrated not knowing stuff. And I said, I can't know the tax rate in Eastville. There's like 18 of them. But I would start previewing the properties. I'd do that. And the number one thing that I would tell you that I would preach is this, preparation. So when I go into a listing presentation, okay, it's Joan Pate style, Neil. So, you took notes back then? Oh yeah, I was taking notes. So what I mean is this, I know, hey, Bob, Mary, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. I prepared a comparative market analysis, 3 parts to this research, but I took your information, 1817 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 6,050 square foot lot built in 1995 by MJ Brock, whatever it is. I memorized that. Okay. I don't even look at paper. And so what I'm sending the message to the sellers, look, he took time to actually study this stuff. He knows my house. I'm not going to give him a lot of price objections and then I even go a step further, Neil, is this. I'll run the comps and like if a house 2 doors up, I go, the Jones house 2 stories up. Oh, do you know the Jones? No, I just ran the tax records. But yeah, the Jones, they're going, oh, you know everything. It takes a little bit of time, but I'm sending a message. Like I took notes before this call to make sure that, I made my good friend Neil look good, but it sends a message to the consumer. He cares enough to study my stuff and to make sure I'm in a good position. Does that make sense?
Alicia, does that help?
Yes, yes, that helps a lot. Thank you so much.
Good question. Great. Thanks,
Quick
Derek.
question.
Dave, go ahead.
Derek, you mentioned while you were talking, you said you'll Michelangelo this. What did you mean?
So what I'm saying is this, my business today needs a lot of improvement. Okay. But from the outside, it looks great. And I've realized that probably until, I retire or die, I'm always going to look at my business and I need a lot of improvement. Okay. And that's actually what Tony Robbins would say is healthy frustration. Okay. So, constant never ending improvement. What I'm saying is this, I now look at it and I read the story of Michelangelo when he worked on the David. And so I just chip away every single day trying to make it look better than it was yesterday. And, I shower, he didn't shower for like months at a time, but I'm saying, as long as I'm improving the process, I'm going to just stand back and chip away and improve the process and then focus on the beauty that it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And I literally have the story of Michelangelo on my desk. I say, hey, did it get better? Is there more beauty coming to the world because of what my labors are going to be?
That's great. Thank you.
Love it. Thanks, Derek. Great question, Dave.
Yeah.
Other questions for Derek?
I have a question, Derek.
Go ahead, Tess.
Hi, Derek. It's nice to see you again.
Oh, Tess, legend. Love to see you too.
That's good. That's good. Can you clarify when you mentioned that on a normal market, it takes 3 days to sell a home?
No, I said 6 months, not 3 days.
Oh, 6 months. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. 6 months to sell a home. And
Yep.
so that, and then the rest of what you said, price improvement.
So let me just say this. What I tied that in is the pre-framing. Okay. So
All right.
what I'm saying is this: you need to make sure sellers aren't getting discouraged.
Right.
At the listing presentation. So I tell sellers, I go, look, today's average market time is 17 days. You guys should know that number without like blinking.
Yeah.
And then I tell sellers, I go, look, it's really 8. They go, what do you mean 8? I go, look, you're going to get people. We've got coming soon. We've got highest and best. There's time, 3 days for the sellers. It's really 8 days. But I just want you to know is this: the average market time is 6 months in a normal market. This is not like 2008 or whatever. It's a normal market. So I tell them that. So if it takes 3 weeks or a month, number one, they're not discouraged. If I go in there, Rob, and I say, hey, I'm the best thing since Weber sliced bread, it's going to take you 3 days and whatever. Okay. That's number one. So you got to set them up, Tess. And number two, you need to say this. Look, honesty makes powerful mastery of salespeople. What I'm saying is this. I tell sellers, hey, by the way, let me let you know a little secret. And I lean over. You're hiring me to negotiate for you. Well, I thought I was hiring you to market. No, that's called the MLS. Okay. And plus, I've got a database. We've got 463 buyers that we've cultivated, et cetera. But really, you're hiring me to negotiate for you, and like a chef in a 5-star restaurant, oversee to make sure that your experience is out of this world. Okay.
Got it. That's wonderful. Thank you. And I like what you said about pre-training. That's connected to that too, where you preempt them what the process will be. Do you actually put this in writing especially when you're working with a buyer,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, look, so I put it in writing. Let me just say this. This is a short version of my listing presentation.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But let me just say this. I'm just gonna read it. Very first thing I say is thank you. Anybody that invites you into their home, you should say thank you to them.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just letting you know, there's an opportunity to put bread on your table. Thank you. The decision to sell your home is a big one. I appreciate the opportunity to be of service. Okay. Value. Your time is valuable. Our time together will take 30 minutes. I'm only going to focus on what's important to the client. I don't talk about myself.
Yeah.
I send them a digital pre-listing packet. I've got 30 minutes. I'm not going to talk about myself. If I talk about myself, I haven't done the pre-selling right. Consultation. Hey, the Mike Ferry questions to put me in, but I tell them why I'm asking them questions. To put me in the best position to help you achieve your goals, I'm going to ask you a series of consultation questions. Since I tailor our service to each client, I need to know what your specific needs are. I need to sell in a week. I don't care if it takes 6 months. I need to know that. Then trust. Hey, 4,000 clients over the last 32 years have put their trust in me. I'm going to go over what every seller needs to know. Okay. I'm going to tell you things that you can't find elsewhere. Can't find it on Zillow. Okay. Can't find it down the street. Okay. Anyways, that's the intro to my listing presentation.
So would you be able to share the bullet points to us?
What bullet points?
The one you talked about.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is being recorded, right?
Okay.
And by the way, here's what I would tell you. When I say reimagining our business, this is what, a listing presentation book looks like.
Uh-huh.
You guys got to go in there because they're looking, look, thank goodness that, I know it's a little old school, but, Neil and I, we still world ties and we just say, hey, the mindset, we got to show up the best. Okay. So if I showed up here, Neil would say, is Derek on point? Okay. He knows I'm on point, right, Neil? Right. But the advice that I would give you guys is this: you got to do an audit on all of your marketing and things that look. I mean, this is what it looks like. Okay. And we have it in different things. I mean, this is what it looks like. So you got to say, look, everything sends a message, right? So your marketing, how you show up, if you're on time, if I showed up at 12:50 or 12:30, Neil would say, guy's not on point. Okay. Everything counts, Tez.
Also not on the call.
It seemed to me that this is more or less like your listing package. Am I right to say?
Yeah, but here's what I'll tell you. It's a listing package, but the reality is this. Going back to what Neil does with you guys, if you guys have enough skill and you're focused on them, okay,
yes,
you're going to attract whatever you want. And there's going to be times, Tess, that I've told people, I told a seller in, South Carolina off of 15, don't sell, don't sell, don't sell. Let me rent it out. Market's going up. She would call me every year. Is it time to sell? No. But when she called me up and I said, it's time to go, no hesitation, DocuSign, 2 minutes. So you just tell people the best advice for them, and people will stay with you.
Great. Thank you. Good
Great.
answer.
Fantastic. Great job, Derek. Thank you, Tess. Good question.
Derek,
All right, other questions for Derek, please.
I have a quick question. That book that you showed, is that the listing presentation that you bring with you to the table, or is this something that you leave with them?
So I only leave them with a smile. Great question. Okay.
Okay.
That's called the script. No, I go through a listing. This is my actual listing present. And look, after, Neil said, is it a grind? It's about the relationships. Okay. So I start off with the relationship. So I built a listing presentation book. That's the short version, but I don't leave with anything. Okay. There's no takeaways. I mean, look, Mark and Al and I used to steal each other's pre-listing package back in the 1995s. But no, it's not because of that, because the reality is, like Mike Ferry would say, hey, 3,000 people go to my seminars in Palm Desert, but only 5 people are going to do anything. So the reality is this: I just went out and built something, but I don't even use it. I have it more for a visual for them to say, I'm put together. I know my questions. I know the process. I have and by the way, on your CMAs, highlight everything in advance, study them in advance. So when you get to that section in the presentation, you're not scrambling. They say, this guy has put thought into this. Does that make sense?
You bet.
It's boring, but it's worth $1 billion.
Yeah. Repetitious boredom.
Yeah.
All right, other questions for Derek? Go ahead, Tyrone, you had another one?
Yeah. When you mentioned, just to make sure I'm on the right track, when you're talking about framing, are you talking about informing someone of the process that they're about to go through, or is it other stuff with framing?
Great question, Tyrone. No, you tell them the process. So Tyrone, if I say, by the way, you're going to have people trooping through your home, for the next 4 days, and there may be 10 people. You're going to have people that are going to leave lights on and the back door open. I get at least 2 calls a week. You tell them that, okay? Because I've had clients call me, complain, hey, they left lights on. So I just tell them in advance, this is going to happen, okay? You just tell them everything. And, one of the other things is this, going back to Walter Sanford's list. Yep, Neil, you're saying, man, Derek, you took some notes back then. Look, you tell them when you go into escrow every time, there's going to be issues. Well, that's why we're hiring you. There's 23 people, write this number down. There's 23 people involved in the average real estate transaction. You need to know that, okay? Title rep, loan officer, underwriter, termite, escrow, other agent, buyer, 23 people, okay? The chances of all of those people walking in a straight line for 30 days is slim. That's my script, Rob, that's my script, okay? You're hiring me to make sure that I handle the problems and you don't even hear about them. Well, what does that mean? I'm not going to call you. The perfect transaction is where I don't call you except to status you once a week for 2 minutes. If I'm calling you for fires to try to justify my commission, you hired the wrong guy. If it goes smooth and you say, nothing's happening. No, everything's happening. You just don't know about it. We want you doing your day job, hanging out with your family and building a life. Rob, if we get time, we can talk about that coach, your call. I don't know how much time we got, but if we get time, there's a moral in that story.
Good, thank you.
Okay, good stuff. All right, great question. Noreen's got her hand up. Noreen?
Derek, do you send in your pre-listing package the CMA? I mean, I know we're supposed to, but how do you deal with the pricing you're going to give them versus the price that they're probably going to get when it's all bid up?
Okay, so first of all is this. I need you to know, I send in the pre-list, I send the CMA and a net sheet every single time. Every time. Okay? Because I can say this, I just got an email, I listed a property in Orange, goes on the market May 15th. They're saying, hey, we had somebody willing to do it at 3%. I got to handle that objection before I go out there. Okay. So I'm just letting you know. Okay. I would say, great. Where do you live? And they say, well, I live here. I go, do you live in a mobile home? No, we don't live in a mobile home. Okay. Well, mobile home's cheaper than the house. So it's not all about the price. You do see other values. Okay. And I would say, let me ask you this. Can I just go one other tangent? I don't want to lose the question, but one other tangent, a couple scripts.
Sure.
Please do.
Are you
So,
asking me? When's the last time you asked me?
Well, here's what I'll say. Hey, so Rob, let me ask you this. When you go home tonight, are you going to be sleeping on the floor on a mattress? Mattress, right? Okay. So you will pay for comfort, right?
Yes.
So, hey, Armin, let me ask you this. When you go home tonight, do you have a refrigerator in your house? Okay. So you're not going to go out and chase chickens or hunt for, so you value convenience.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So let me ask you this. Ruth Camino, been around for a long time too. Another legend. So Ruth, let me ask you this, if you can hear me. Did you walk to work or did you take a car?
I took the car.
You took the car. So you value speed.
Oh, yes.
So in other words, you're willing to pay for speed, convenience, and efficiency.
Absolutely.
Let me just show you how that translates with what I do for you.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So going back, I send the CMA, I send a net sheet every time in advance. It's called transparency. You guys got to be CarMax. You know what I mean? You got to be CarMax.
Yeah.
Look, they don't care what it is. They just don't want anything to hide from. They just don't want, people don't like surprises in life. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Absolutely.
You bet. Excellent. Noreen, thanks for the question. Great
Great
job,
question.
Derek. Excellent. Okay, other questions for Derek? Anyone else popping up? Iris, you always have a question.
Hey, Derek, question for you. When you go to a for sale by owner, you're saying, by the way, I love the question that you asked. I think you said that you will ask, the house still available? Are you cooperating with buyer's agent? And then can I come and see the house, right? Now, and then you pretty much set a preview there. There also you like set the appointment, like a listing appointment, or when you go to the house to preview it, you set the listing appointment.
Okay, did you guys hear that? I can tell you this. The smartest guy in any room is always the guy that asks these questions because they're listening like their income depends on it, okay? So, Louis, because it's a brilliant question, I go there armed for a listing presentation, number one. Number two, if I didn't tell him I'm going to give him a listing presentation, I don't give him a listing presentation, okay? Going back to people don't like to be surprised. Hey, I thought you were just previewing my house, okay? I will go preview the home, walk through the home, and say, by the way, I prepared some information regarding pricing options. Write that down. Pricing options, pricing strategies, okay? Below market, at market, above market, pricing strategies, okay? The difference between me and Rich Barton and Zillow.com is that I actually, well, Zillow says my home is worth this. Well, they're not buying anymore, by the way, but even when they were buying, I would say this, okay? Your home is worth what somebody's willing to pay. So even if you get the Redfin estimate, and they're still iBuying, but Louis, back on track. I go through that. And then I ask them this. I say, how long are you going to be trying it on your own before you decide to hire a professional real estate agent? We're going to give it 2 months. And then I say this. Is there anything that could happen that could move up that time frame? No, we're retiring, whatever. Great. I also asked them on a side note, do you know why Beverly Hills and the Hamptons or Manhattan or, why there's no for sale by owners in Beverly Hills? Why? Because they know the value of a real estate agent and they're business people that own $50 million houses. You'll never see 50 million houses for sale by owner where the commissions are huge. They know the value. You just need to find somebody worth the value. And let me tell you, that's me.
That's awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just say, and then one other thing, Louis, you just say this, and this is how I did it, because believe me, you guys got to understand. Oh, Derek, you studied scripts and you've studied under the masters. I still tell people this. The majority of those thousands and thousands of deals have been on lead follow-up. And I'm a decent salesperson, but I would say this, it's still all about the follow-up. I don't walk in there and everybody says, oh man, you're great, let me sign. No, not even to this day. All in the follow-up.
Cool. Thank
Very
you.
good. Good question, Louis. Thanks. Great answer, Derek. Really, really good. Oh, Iris, you have a question.
Yes, I did. I have a question. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Derek. My question was, Derek, if I heard it in the beginning of the interview, you mentioned in the first year you did 12 deals, and then the 5th year you did over 100. So what was the transformation? What did you do differently?
So here's what I would tell you. There wasn't a transformation. It went 12, 26, 51, 89, 117. Okay. What I'm saying is this. Most people give up before momentum kicks in. Okay. They get discouraged. They want to see now business. And especially the millennials. I'm training these millennials that said, it needs to be instant. Okay. Probably why they needed Instagram. It needs to be instant. Okay. No, I just basically said, hey, look, nothing happened. I said, if I just go out and get enough names and numbers, they know who I am. Okay. And I can just do religious follow-up with them. Okay. And I can just touch them and reach out and just say this, look, I want to be there when the time is right. That was my script. If you're not ready, willing, and able, you're not qualified, you don't need to move because your job, you're not retiring. I just want to be there and be top of mind. Do you know that Rocket Mortgage, will reach out to a client that goes in, whatever, in some way, shape, or form, their touch program is 70 times in 2 weeks. Okay. Do you know, look, Pottery Barn, look, my wife's favorite place. I get an email daily from Pottery Barn. New arrivals, spring look, every day. Okay. What I'm saying is this: most agents think I don't want to bother them. Big businesses say I got to be first in line and just give them thoughts and know that I'm first in line. Rob, are we going to have time for Los Altos High School? I don't know where we are on time. Go ahead.
Go.
Sure,
Derek,
tell the story.
Tell it.
So Rob's father and uncle, went to Los Altos High School, where I went to Los Altos High School, and I sent them a little thing in the text. But the moral of the story, are we ending now, Neil? Is this a place to end?
Yeah. I mean, we do a little thing after this. So look, we're here for you.
Okay.
We work for you today.
No. So no, I first few minutes just giving you a shout out, making sure that people know that you're on the Mount Rushmore in Southern California. Look, that after that, this is just like bonus time. But here's what I want you guys to get. Okay. So I played football at Los Altos High School. Wasn't as good as Rob Hurdle or Randy Hurdle or those guys. And in fact, I was one of the captains. I became a captain. Played when I was a sophomore, but I was a captain. My senior year in high school, okay, there's 3 other captains. One got a full ride scholarship to University of Arizona, okay. One, Jim Jastrap, got a full ride offer to play running back at USC. Pretty good school for tailbacks, okay. And the other one, Mark Smith, got a scholarship to go out and quarterback at BYU. Hey Rob, pretty good school to be a quarterback at. Steve Young, Derek didn't get a scholarship to Mount Sac. Okay. Okay. So these guys are getting full rides. So I'm sitting there in the weight room and a little bit down. And a coach, Lyle Olson, comes over to me. He goes, "Why are you down? You're never down." I go, "I'm just down. Don't want to talk about it." He goes, "Why are you down?" And I said, let me tell you. I go, "These guys are getting full ride scholarships. I've been working my tail off, and Mount Sac doesn't even want me to play football there." Okay. And he looks at me, and this guy was a legend, and he says the following statements. He says, "Well, let me tell you some things you're not going to like to hear." I said, "What are they?" He goes, "You're too small. Okay, you're not going to go play middle linebacker at like USC. You're 5'10". He goes, "You're too slow. You're the slowest guy that's probably came through this school. Like you run a 5'2" 40. Okay. Number 3, you're not a natural athlete. You're not talented. Okay. And this is supposed to be a motivation." I go, "Oh man, if this is your pick me up message, I'd hate to see the other one." Okay. Yeah. But what he said is this. I go, "Oh, good." He goes, "Let me just tell you something. The only reason we had to make you a captain, we had no other choice." I go, "What does that mean?" He goes, "See, when I drive out there at 8:00 at night and I see you, so he goes, when I drive out and I see you like running the stairs at night," he goes, "we had to make you a captain." He goes, "It wasn't talent, it wasn't speed, it wasn't that." He goes, "You outworked everybody." God, this is the worst one ever. So probably I shouldn't have won here, Rob. But here's the more of the story. Is Neil, because I read everything that you sent. You talked about superpowers, and I said, "Man, if I got no talent, I got nothing else." But what I'm saying is this: the message I would want to get to you guys is this: if you just outwork everybody, you got a shot. You got a good shot. No talent, no speed, no nothing. If you just say, "I'm gonna outwork everybody," and you got a real good shot, guys. I'm living proof. That's all I got.
That's
That's amazing.
fantastic. All right, unmute yourselves. Let's give him a big hand. All right, Derek.
Tissues, please.
Couldn't have went for it.
We're all out. We're all out of tissues, Derek.
I chunked it. So, but hey, thank you guys for having me. Are we good?
Thank you.
That was really good. That was really, really good. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a few minutes and kind of talk about what we learned today from you and do that. You're welcome to stay with us. You're welcome to I don't know if you have a hard stop or something right now, but we really, really, really appreciate it, my friend. It's probably one of the reasons that we get along so well and have from day one is no one's going to outwork you and no one's going to outwork me.
Yep.
And that's the name of the game. I got no skills. I got no money. I got nothing in the beginning, but now I have no competition and neither does Derek Oie.
Yep. Yep. You're the Bono of real estate. You've stayed the course. So
Exactly. Okay. So we learned a lot today. I want to ask you, tell me, what did you guys and gals learn from Derek Oie today? What did you learn?
I have an affirmation word today.
Sorry?
which is what I have an affirmation word for the day, which is the favorite of Neil. Outwork everybody.
That's right. Yeah, that's Derek's
And
word.
which you did.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right. Well, you know, if you look around at the legends, like Derek, like Melinda, like Mark and Al, like Marty Rodriguez, like Neil Weichel, like Karen Bernardi, every single one of them, Mike Ferry, every single one of them outwork their competition. Every single one of them.
Exactly.
Every one. So maybe that's the magic pill, Derek.
Yeah, that is true.
Anyway, okay, good. Thanks, Tess. Ava, did you have a comment? What did you learn today?
Wow, it's very refreshing. It actually really put light under my tush. Thank you, Derek. I mean, you're amazing. You're awesome. And thank
All
you.
right. Good. You're welcome, Ava. Thank you. Good stuff. What else did we learn today?
Neil, Derek, thanks. That was incredible. Really greatly appreciate it. I know you're super busy, so to take the time and be inspirational is really appreciate it.
Robert, I didn't know you had phenomenal stardom, football stardom in your family.
Yeah, there's some athletes in there. It skips a generation. So, maybe my daughter will be athletic.
And
I wrote down a number.
my daughter gets to be her agent.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Perfect. I wrote down a number of things, but the two things that really pointed out is I love the analogy he talked about the for sale by owners is you don't see homes in the Hamptons, Manhattan, Beverly Hills doing for sale by owners, even though the commission checks are even larger, because they're smart business people. I thought that was just a really, really great analogy. And when he was talking about the work, stuff like that, I had written down here, for real estate, on top of the hard work, is that there's no age requirement, there's no gender requirement, there's no language requirement, there's no education requirement, there's none of those requirements to make a fortune in real estate, as long as you simply just do the work. And so when he was talking about hard work, it's, this is an industry that really, if you just do what Derek says, as far as the hard work and putting in the hustle, it's possible. It's certainly possible. And then the third thing, Neil, as a coach, I'm sure you also appreciated this. He said, just do what you're told. I don't know if anyone else wrote that down, but I did.
Great stuff, Derek. Robert, excuse me. Good. All right. What else did we learn? What else did we learn today?
Actually, I think I got something. And since Derek is here, I will ask him a question too. So I love how prepared he is when he goes to a listing appointment. Love when he said he knew the square feet, the bedroom, the bathroom, like he really knew the house. So I was just wondering, usually how long it takes for you to study, like that listing presentation where you're going to somebody. You take 20 minutes before, or like usually how long it takes for you to study the material?
So first of all, I've got a hard stop at 1:30, so I'll listen to you guys. But to answer the question, Takes me 15 minutes. Okay.
Yep.
But look, let me just say this. If I invested another 15 minutes, going back to what Neil said, as far as, studying inventory, if I invest another 15 minutes learning about inventory, learning about that, okay. And there's guys that blow me out of the water that can say, oh, this home was built in this tract by this builder, by this builder, by this builder. So, but what I would say is this, I spend 15 minutes, but Louis, the reality is this, if I look at, I have to have so many attempts to so many contacts, to so many leads, to so many appointments, and I can do the 250 to 50 to 10 to 5. And if I say, hey, look, the most important conversion ratio is when I have the chance to meet with a buyer or seller, I'm going to spend that extra 15 minutes versus
that would
calling
really work out best.
Mojo around just listed and sold to increase the most important conversion metric, listing appointments to listing signed.
Damn, you're the best. Thank you, Derek.
Name in the game. Thank you. Good stuff. All right. Any other, what did you learn today?
Hey, Derek, I want to tell you, you are my hero. I remember I met you when you were regular human being like everybody else. I remember those days. I was eating that Mexican food in the Huntington Beach when you had that restaurant there. I'm telling you, you are still my hero, man.
Well, thank you.
Oh my God, I remember that restaurant.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Believe me, I am still abnormally that C student. Not a lot's changed. So good to hear from you, my man. Thank you for listening.
Did you ever open another restaurant?
I ended up selling that.
Yeah.
And I will just say this. I thought that, what I learned is this, there's that great book called Good to Great. And I was okay. Sometimes you got to get your ego out of it. Okay. And make businesses. I said, I want to be really great in real estate. And I figured out that I couldn't be great in real estate and trying to be great in something else. That just wasn't my bandwidth. Like I said, I'm not a brilliant guy. I said, man, let me just focus on becoming really good in one thing. And then, like I said, a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities can happen if you focus on becoming really good in one area.
No,
Okay.
and you did it. And you did it. And thank goodness you got rid of that thing. I couldn't talk you out of that in the beginning to save my life.
I wish you would have.
I wasn't that good a salesman yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So any other things that we learned today?
Yeah, I'd like to say, Derek, well, I'd like to say thank you because it seems like, I can hear your hunger and your passion through your work that you've done after all these years. And that's great. I think that's very inspiring. And I think I can relate to you when it comes to being athletic or not being athletic, because, I'm the only Black guy in the world who's never been picked twice for a basketball game. So I'm with you. But I tell you, man, I can hear it through your voice, man. But that's great. And I really appreciate all of the wisdom that you've brought to the table today. You and all the other people that Neil and Robert, you guys bring to the table. This, to me, is one of the I want to say one of the best organizations of being in real estate that I've ever encountered. And I actually have Cherry to thank for that. So I thank her all the time.
Yep.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves, please. Let's give them a big giant hand.
Yes.
Derek, thank you.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Neil, what was your takeaway? What was your big takeaway?
It's interesting because I do talk about working hard, and I talk about it all the time to everyone. But when I am reminded, sitting here, and remember those days when we were in the office and we were, making calls and doing things. And Derek really was walking up and down streets. And, there is not a harder working guy then. And look, I don't work with you today, but my sense is you're still that guy. And in fact, Marcy wrote down here, Marcy probably did some of your TC work back in the day.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
If that's the same Marcy, I can't see. If that's the same Marcy,
yeah,
It is.
Amazing. Yeah, love that. She did. She's amazing. She was amazing then. Oh my God. Good to see you. Good to see you.
That's me.
Yeah, love that. Yes.
So and she made the comment, Derek's energy level hasn't changed. I love it. And I think that's the one thing, Robert, that I'm reminded, we come in every day, we do what we're supposed to do. The energy level is high, even on the days we don't feel like doing it. And I know Derek is in the same place. You can't, 4,000 transactions in 32 years is 125 transactions a year, which means that he didn't do 125 his first 5 or 8 years. He was approaching that. So we're talking about a lot of transactions. Derek, at your peak, how many listing appointments were you going on a day?
So at my peak, I was going on about 7 listing appointments a week. So it wasn't like and then
So one a day, 2 a day sometimes.
Yeah. 2 a day. Yeah, 1 a day to 2 a day, 7 a week.
So it sounds impossible, but here's people that do it. We have people in our organization that do it. This is doable. And, it's about hard work, because while Derek has great skills, he will outwork, most everybody I know. So that's part of the deal. And I think that all the people that do that kind of hard work, it shows. So congratulations, Derek. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you, for your example. In life, you're either a warning or an example. You are a great example. So I appreciate it. All right, everybody, give them a big hand. Let's go. All right.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you. Thank you.
Derek. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
job.